You are welcome to Bishop Crowder Memorial Secondary School, Rumuobiakan in Port Harcourt, one of the best private schools in Port Harcourt.
What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? I learned that Washington never told a lie. I learned that soldiers seldom die. I learned that everybody is free, and that's what.
Good day, class. You are welcome to bookkeeping class. Last week we treated correction of error. I will say that we have certain errors that do not affect the agreement of trial balance, such as error of omission, error of commission, error of original entry, error of principal, compensating error, error of duplication, complete reversal of entry of errors. These are some of the errors we discussed last week with practical steps, with practical examples using ledger methodologies to correct errors. I will also look at some of the errors that will affect the agreement of trial balance, such as one-sided omission, 2, unextracted ledger balance, 3, extracted ledger balance placed on the wrong side of the trial balance, and so on and so forth. These are some of the things we discussed last week. But for God so loved the world, we are going to be looking at a new topic, but not too new. I say that because this topic, I want you to take it very serious. This topic is very important. It's highly paramount because this topic, you are going to take it meticulously at 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, and to your icon level. That is why you see that this topic, we are repeating it almost every time. Please take it very seriously. Now, what is the topic all about? The topic is trading account. The topic is trading account. Please make sure you watch this video meticulously and listen carefully. Now, today we are going to be looking at trading account. Trading account. Trading account. Now, these are some of the things we are going to be looking at. We are going to be looking at the origin of trading account, the meaning, importance or purpose, the format, and the terminologies in trading account. Then what is trading account? But before that, in the late 14th century, move forward to the 15th to 16th century, great merchandises in Egypt and other parts of the European nations, they were transacting businesses, and there's need for them to determine the rate of return on their investment, to determine their profitability. Therefore, financial accountants all over the world came together. International bodies on standard setters, we call them standard setters in accounting. They are those bodies that set standard which we accountants are expected to comply with. They came up and said, okay, once we transact business, there's need for us to determine the rate of return, the profit on the business. And that is why the purpose of carrying on a business is to make profit. Now, this account came and helps us to determine the gross profit on the business activities. Now, according to IFRS, which is known as International Financial Reporting Standard, came up with a uniform standard or format for preparing trading account. And in line with this IFRS standard, IFRS stated clearly that the purpose of trading account is to determine the gross profit and those operating profits attributable to such operational activities. Now, what is trading account? Trading account is a financial statement that is prepared to determine the gross profit of the business. Meaning that the purpose of preparing trading account is to determine the gross profit of the business. Now let's look at some of the importance of trading account. One of the benefits of preparing trading account is to determine the gross profit. We have importance of trading accounts. Importance of trading accounts. We have importance of trading accounts. Number one, to determine the gross profit. To determine to determine gross profit. To determine gross profit. To determine gross profit. Number 2, to account for operating expenses. To account for operating costs for decision making. Number 4, for cost control. For cost control, etc. So these are some of the reasons or purposes of preparing trading account. The first one is the purpose of preparing trading account. The first one is to determine gross profit of the business, and gross profit is the difference between net sales and the cost of sales. Number 2, to account for operational cost. The purpose of preparing trading account is to enable business owner to know their operational costs, and operational costs are those costs that are associated with what? The manufacturing processes. We have number 3, decision making. Another reason for preparing trading account is to provide relevant information for planning, controlling, and decision making. Because once the gross profit is determined, the business owner can depend on such profit and make economic decisions on how to grow the business, and help them to know whether the business is doing very well or the business is doing badly. 4, for cost control. Trading account can also serve as a tool for cost control, and cost control is a way of maximizing business profit. So these are some of the purposes of preparing trading account. Now let's look at the next aspect of trading account. Let's look at the format for preparing trading accounts. Let's look at some of the format for preparing trading account. Right, we are going to be looking at the format for preparing trading account. Now the first thing, when you are preparing trading account, the first thing to put down is the name of the company. You write down the name of the company. Let's assume the name of the company is JP Limited. And the account you are preparing is trading account. Then you remember your debit side and the credit side. On the debit side, the debit side of trading account records expenses that are related to operating activities such as opening inventory, which is not opening inventory or stock, purchases, carriage inward. We have another one again, good withdrawn, and so on and so forth, closing inventory or closing stock. And some of the items that come to the credit side, we have the sales, we have the return inward. Now let's start. The first thing that will come to this place is opening stock. You bring down your opening stock, you add purchases, carriage inward, carriage inward, you add them together. Let's return outward. You let your return outward, you bring it down here. You less what? Good withdrawn. Whatever you have, you add it to this place and say this plus this, you have this. So after this, you less your closing stock. Less closing stock or closing inventory. When you less it, you arrive at what is called cost of sales. So whatever you arrive at here is called cost of sales. You arrive at cost of sales. Now here is cost of sales. Is that taken out? Now you now go to the credit side. On the credit side, we have sales or revenue. You put it down. You now less return inward. Less return inward. You less it. Whatever you arrive at here is called net sales. You arrive at net sales. Now, remember, I told you that the purpose of preparing trading account is to determine the gross profit. Now, you remember that gross profit simply means net sales minus cost of sales. To arrive at our gross profit, we say net sales, the net sales here minus the cost of sales we arrive at here. Whatever you arrive at will give you is either gross profit or gross loss. Now, let's become when you're talking about gross profit occurs when the net sales is greater than the cost of sales. In a situation whereby the net sales is greater than this cost of sales, we arrive at what? Gross profit. But in a situation whereby net sales is less than the cost of sales, then we have gross loss. But in this case, we are assuming that we are having gross profit. So this net sales minus cost of sales, we have gross profit. Here we now have gross profit. Gross profit. So whatever you have, you add it together. You bring this one down, you add them together. Is that taken out? Now, let's take them one after the other. But before that, assuming that the business, assuming you have gross loss, you are going to put your gross loss here. If the cost of sales is greater than the net sales, it means that we have gross loss. So you now write your gross loss here. Is that taken out? But in this case, we are assuming we have gross profit. Is that taken out? Good. Now, let's take them one after the other and explain them. The first one here is opening stock. The first one here is opening stock. What is opening stock? Opening stock simply means opening inventory. Another name for stock is inventory. Opening stock is the raw materials or the amount of goods you have at the beginning of the period. Is that taken out? Is the amount of raw material you have in your store at the beginning of the period. While purchases is the additional raw material you purchase in order to add them to the existing one, which is opening inventory, opening stock. And carriage inward is the amount of money you expended or you spent in bringing those raw material you purchased to your company. We have return outward. Return outward simply means part of the goods you purchased here and recorded, you now decided to return part of it to the seller because of spoilage or those raw material does not meet up with your standard requirement, or those raw materials are outdated, you need to return it. So part of the raw material you purchase now is part of the raw material you purchase and return back to the seller is called return outward. Is that taken out? Now we have good withdrawn. Good withdrawn is the part of raw material purchase that the owner consumed by himself for personal purpose. I come again. Good withdrawn is the amount of raw materials that the owner consumed by himself. Let's say, for instance, now you are selling egg roll. You bought 100 pieces of egg roll. Now you now decided to when your children came back to school, you gave and you have like 4 children, you gave them one. Therefore, you have consumed 4. That 4 is called good withdrawn. You have consumed it for your personal use, not for the business. In accounting, we treat them as drawings. Is that taken? I call them good withdrawn. Are you with me? That's why we are lessening it. That's why we are deducting it from this place. We have closing stock. Closing stock is the amount of goods is the amount of unsold good at the end of the period. Let's assume you have 100. You have 2 packets of Indomie. You went to buy 8. You are having now 10 cartons of Indomie. You now decided, at the end of later, you now sold 5. You are not left with 5. That 5 is closing stock or closing inventory. Closing stock or closing inventory is the amount of goods or raw material that are left unsold with you at the end of the period. We have cost of sales. Cost of sales is the difference between good available for sales and closing stock. So this, and remember, when you are dealing with your trading account, start with opening stock, you add purchase. After that, add carriage inward. We are adding carriage inward because carrying inward is the amount of money you spend in bringing those raw material you purchase from the seller to your company. You add it as part of purchase price. Now return inward. After you add it, let return inward. Return inward means the good you recorded that you purchase, you are not taking it back. Since you have recorded it, you are going to less it. Now we have good withdrawn. Good withdrawn, such good is no longer available, but you have recorded that you bought them. You need to less it since you have consumed them by yourself. Now, on the credit side, we have sales. On the credit side, we have sales. Another name for sales is revenue. Another name for revenue is turnover. So in example, when you have sales or revenue or turnover, they are all the same. Now you less return inward. Return inward, we are deducting return inward because we are lessing return inward because return inward simply means part of the goods you sold, the customer now return it back to you. So, and you have recorded it before, so you need to less it. Let's assume you bought 100 crates of eggs. You bought 100 crates of eggs, and later you sold 100 crates of egg to customer A. And on getting to customer A discovered that 5 crates are damaged. So the customer now will now return 5 crates back to you. Now you will now receive it as return inward. Is that taken now? So such return inward, you are going to less it since 5 crates are damaged. You need to less it that 100 minus 5. You are not left with what? 95. And this 95 is called net sales. Is that taken now? This 95 is called net sales. So we are deducting return inward because return inward is a part of good you sold to customer and customer return it back to you. But immediately you sold those goods, you have recorded it as sales. So since customer is returning it back, is either you give them their money back, or you either you refund them, or either by cash or through goods. So you are going to less it from sales. That's why we are lessing return inward from sales. And for God's all of the world, this is the end of today's class. Remember, we started by saying that trading account is an account that is prepared according to IFRS. Trading account is an account that is prepared to determine the gross profit or loss of a business venture. And we are talking about trading account. Trading account comprises of the two sides. We have the debit, the left hand side, and the right hand side. And on the debit side, trading account, those items that are recorded on the debit side of trading account, they are items of expenses. While those items that are recorded on the credit side, they are items of income. On the debit side, they are items of expenses. On the credit side, they are items of income. And remember, trading account is prepared to determine the gross profit or loss of a business. And trading account helps to determine the gross profit or loss, provide information for decision making, provide avenue for operational cost control, helps to show the operational cost at a glance, and also helps business owners to plan on how to grow the business. So these are some of the purposes or importance of trading account. I love you all. I will see you in next class. God bless you. Remain blessed.